What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Tell Me Why Chapter 3. So we're just going to jump right into it. This is going to be completely spoiler-filled. Obviously, the people that watch this at this point, I feel like have obviously already beaten the game, or you're just very invested in either me or knowing about what I think of the game, and I truly do appreciate it. So let me cut down to the chase. I actually thought this episode was insanely good. I do. I think that overall, I'm very, very pleased with Tell Me Why. Is it a perfect game? No. Is it an amazing game? No, I wouldn't say. I don't give review scores. If I did, I'd probably give this overall thing somewhere in the 7 territory. I would say, in my personal opinion, we've talked about this, and I think people that have watched these videos, they kind of agree with me. I don't like Life is Strange 2. I think that Don't Nod, I've said it before, I think Life is Strange, the first one, is their only good game they've ever made, and that's not a slight against the company. It's just that's just my opinion, okay? And I think that this game gets them the most on track that they've ever been since that. They did that, but then they did season 2. In between that, they did that Vampire, which I thought was actually a really, really terrible game. Before that, they did Remember Me. So again, I really think this is the first time where they're back on track, and I'm excited, legitimately excited to see what they do next. Now we know Twin Mirror is technically next, but in terms of the future past that, we'll have to see. Again, it's not perfect. There were issues with this episode, and we'll talk about that. So let's maybe start with the negatives. I'd say the biggest negatives of this episode was the anticlimactic figuring out who the father was, right? They could have done it a lot of different ways, and they chose to do it in a way where you kind of just saw it. Like they went over to the dock, they looked at the water, looked at where the boat was, and they just saw him. There was really no build up in terms of them. In fact, that's what I thought. It kind of showed like Allison mainly like concentrating on making it come alive basically. But I kind of wish we would have seen more of the focus of them to get it to happen. And then when we saw the father, I don't know, just kind of more of like a build up to what the face actually was. Maybe even have the Mad Hunter face and then have that dissolve away into what ended up being Tom. And with Tom, that kind of continues to lead into the negatives, where when you find out what really happened, it's kind of like, okay, again, very anticlimactic. Nothing really happened. Allison, I would say, is mainly responsible for the death of her mom. Now, the mom was going to kill herself anyway, but, Allison obviously accelerated that plan by stabbing her in the back with scissors. Technically, she didn't kill her. The drowning killed her. You have to wonder if, Marianne let herself drown, like she maybe could have swam out, but she chose to just, accept it because she was going to end it anyway. And then Tom, again, like him meeting them at the house and talking about it, it's just like he's kind of so pathetic that it does, I think, take away. You know what I mean? I don't know. When I think of their dad, or when I thought of their dad over the last 2 chapters, I kind of thought of some like menacing guy. I know I personally said like the Mad Hunter and the guy, in the cloak who is the father. I always thought that he was kind of smaller and like scrawny, so I don't know why. Maybe I also thought he was like menacing, but I did. I kind of thought it would be more of an engagement between the two, and ultimately it was like, well, why didn't you do anything? Well, I panicked. Why didn't you say anything? Well, I panicked. What do you do? Why are you doing the things you're doing now? Well, I'm panicking. You know what I mean? It's like you're such a loser. You know what I mean? Like you really have nothing, and you're kind of you're always so scared, and you're I don't know other words to describe him. And like that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? And then the choice of whether to believe one of the two things. So I chose personally that she picked that the mother was not going to do anything to Tyler. That's the one I chose. I think that's the right choice. I think everything in the games have led to that being the correct call. I mean, yeah, you could. I feel like you'd just be lying to yourself if you said that she was aiming at you, because we've been through that. She's now being haunted by pretty much her memories telling her, no, that's not true. Like, I was never trying to do that. And so I feel like that would have just been a lie. But the bottom line is, picking that decision doesn't really do anything for the end of the game. So, ironically, it's kind of like the end of Life is Strange in a way that I don't think it was as good as Life is Strange leading into Chapter 3, but, and I just thought about this now, the main criticism with Life is Strange was Episode 5. Now, I loved Episode 5. I thought Episode 5 was the best episode of those 5, but I get the ending was not what a lot of people were expecting. It's not what a lot of people were wanting. And I feel like we kind of got that again here, where it's like the stakes weren't as high here. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't such a kind of big thing like obviously the ending of Life is Strange, but they ended it kind of the same, where it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess not even that, because it was pretty epic, the ending of Life is Strange. It just wasn't what people wanted. For this one, it was kind of just like a dud. With that being said, those are the negatives. And I know I focused, 5 minutes on them, but in all reality, this episode was really good. We got to see so many different kind of things. I mean, I think these two characters are really, really good. Now, are they bad people? Yeah, I do think they're actually bad people. I think they were bad children to their mom. I think they were brats. But in terms of who they are, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're pretty cool. I like Tyler. I like Al. I actually really like Allison. I think she's a really good character. The panic attack thing was awesome. To be able, not the fact that she had it, but the fact that we got to see something like that in a game. My wife had struggled with that kind of stuff and anxiety throughout the last couple of years. And so to see somebody in a game, my wife even said, like, that was incredible. Like, she really liked it. And I agree. I think we've never really seen something like that in a video game before. And that's kind of the more real world issues that I guess, like, speak to me, okay? So I really like the fact that we got to see that. And then just, I don't know, the way the story played out, really learning about Marianne and what she was going to do and kind of the emotion there with Tyler and Allison. Well, mainly Allison. I mean, this episode, I don't love how it just ended with Tyler and Allison was just on the phone. I don't like that, but I think this episode, and honestly, almost the entire game, I would say Allison's the main character. Tyler isn't. Tyler's the second main character. I do think one of the things Donut did do really well throughout the entire thing is make two very distinct and, like, you know what I mean? Like, somehow they created two characters that even when you're playing as the other one, you know that the one you're not playing as is a main character. You know what I mean? They're not like backup. Now, again, I would argue that Allison is the main character of this entire game, and it was really cool, again, because I feel like that because the main point of this game was about the mystery of the mom, and really, Allison has been struggling with what she thought was real this entire time, and then she comes to find out all this stuff, and we come to find out as an audience all this stuff with the mom, and so I just feel like by that, Allison kind of becomes the main person. But I love seeing it. I love the puzzles now. Do I think it's humanly possible that Marianne made all that stuff? Not really, but you suspend your belief a little bit, right? Was very, very cool. Now, did I look up the puzzles? Yeah, I looked up the puzzles. I didn't figure them out in the Book of Goblins, but I really liked it. I really liked figuring it out. Figuring out that she had, another kid and what happened to that kid. That was really sad. That was really sad. That was really emotional, and you could feel that in the game. The music of this game, like I've said before, Donut knows how to do music. If Donut knows how to do anything, it's they know how to do music. And also, I continue, whenever they do the remembering part, like when at the very end when they're running to the dock and they're running to spin around to pick which memory, that noise is absolutely the noise that Max makes when she's turning time in Life is. I mean, it's absolutely the exact same effects, which I think they're doing on purpose, by the way, and I really, really like that. But I mean, things like that. The visuals have never looked good. I don't think Donut ever will catch up to the current thing. I think it's just because they work on too many things at once. And also their style. I mean, I get their art style is different than the normal stuff. And I think it worked here. Like, nothing looked awful, but it just didn't look, like, great. Like, you know what I mean? So there were issues. There were issues. This was not a perfect game. There were some very anticlimactic things. Again, things that we thought could go one way. A lot of people did predict Tom. Congratulations if you predicted Tom. I thought definitely he was in my list of people that I thought it could be. I kind of would have liked it to be somebody random, but at the same time, you kind of have to make it somebody we already know to kind of just tie the story up really quickly. So I get it. At the same time, again, the Tom choice, it was just like he was so pathetic. And I mean, I guess good on everybody else for doing what they did to him at the end. I mean, he lost the mayor race, he lost his business, he lost his wife. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, he got what was coming for. Again, though, there was really no conclusion to if you're going to tell anybody. I assume under both endings, you don't say a single thing about what actually happened. And that's, again, why the ending is a little bit weird, because the choice doesn't make the biggest difference in the world. And also, no matter what you do, it kind of just ends. It ends the same way. And it's really, and I guess I understand it, it's more for the characters. The choice is more for Allison. And again, Allison, not Tyler. In fact, Tyler even says, this is for you. Like, you have to make the call here. I think the ending choice is really just so Allison can, like, settle in her head on, okay, here's what I'm believing, and this is what I'm going with for the future. This is what actually happened that night. And so I get it. It's just that, the thing with Tom where they were, Tyler was going to beat him up and all this threatening stuff. I mean, it was just all talk. They never actually did anything. Now, again, he did lose everything, but still. So, uneven game, very uneven through all 3 chapters. But overall, I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked because I thought this would be actually, if you guys have watched the channel, over the past several months, I said that I think this was not going to be a good game at all. I thought this was actually going to be a terrible game. So I'm really, really happy that it was what it is. I think they did a really solid job. I don't think they did an amazing job. I think they did a really, really solid job. Again, I received this code from Microsoft, so I'm very thankful for them. But even that, it's on Xbox Games Pass, and we know how good of a deal that is. So there's really not a lot of worry about jumping into a game like this. Hopefully, again, my biggest thing, I don't even care. This game is done. I'm probably going to think about it in my head over the next couple days because I think it is a game that kind of sticks with you. But really, ultimately, I'm now focused on, all right, Don't Nod, you proved it, that you can rebound in some way, at least a little bit. You can rebound. Continue. Twin Mirror, if that game is garbage, then that's a problem. But if you can make that game solid, then all right, let's see what you can do after that. Don't Nod definitely has an uphill battle. I think they're climbing, but I think they did a good job with Tell Me Why. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Did you like this game? Did you like Chapter 3? What were your strengths? What were your weaknesses? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And thank you all, honestly, so much for watching. I know these videos do not do good. Not a lot of people watch them. I still wanted to make them just because, I am kind of passionate about this game. And I do like covering smaller games, even though it's definitely a smaller audience. So I definitely appreciate every single one of you guys for watching. And I hope to see you all on future videos.